After we ate, Carol excused herself to the inside and took the dirty plates with her. She popped her head out 2 minutes later to say she had some things to do, and that after she changed her clothes, she'd give me a ride back to Orleans. Rather than wait, and remembering that I had no plans that day, and therefore no reason to be anywhere at any particular time, especially back home, I declined in favor of a walk. "No, that's all right. I think I'm going to walk it," I told her. "Sure? I need some things in the market, so I'll stop by Whole Foods before heading back." "Well then, I'll see you sometime soon, I hope," said Carol. "Of course we will. I'll probably see you here for the party." "Good. And bring some of your friends. It's a real shindig. Even the mayor will be here. You'll like it." "Of course the mayor will be there. And who else? What other notables? Aaron Neville? Harry Connick Jr.? Harry Connick Sr.? Dr. John? Of course. It's the annual Carol James Jazz and Heritage Festival kickoff party. Everyone will be. So therefore will I be. A party goer among many other party goers. And who, if anybody, would I give the extra invitations to? I had no clue. Maybe John would be in town. Or maybe would want to come to town if he had a good reason. Maybe I'd meet a girl between now and then. Or maybe I'd go alone and meet some attractive single woman at the party. You never know. I left Carrollton and walked towards Whole Foods, but didn't buy it. Instead, I decided to just get a coffee from the little coffee shop there and walked up toward the Beauregard Rotary in the parking lot. Halfway to the park, the coffee, which I didn't need, gave me a headache, so I dumped it and threw the cup in the dumpster by the feed store. The sky was big and blue with independent, puffy white clouds, just big enough to cast big round shadows over the block as they passed overhead. The sun was out at the Rotary and it added to the small headache from the glare. But still, I would go play a round of golf. A nice, quiet Friday afternoon out on the north course at Bayou Oaks. Wide fairways and unprotected pins. Slow, easy greens for my mild, end-of-the-week blues. Instead, I took a nap. A long nap with the back door and a few windows open so a breeze could blow through the house. I woke later in the afternoon to the sounds of a loud man swearing and the clickety-clack of a ratchet wrench. With a post-nappy heaviness in my head, chest, and limbs, I got up and walked through the kitchen to the back door and looked out. It was still sunny and hot outside. Such daylight shocking to a napper the way it is to a matinee moviegoer. Tony had the cover off his covered car, with his butt up in the air and his head down in the driver's seat. Instead of going out right away, I stepped back in and took a shower. Once refreshed, I poured a glass of water and went to see what Tony was up to. It was the first time I got a look at the treasured convertible uncovered. The car was indeed quite a spectacle. Long, bulbous, rounded hood and big white-walled tires, a sleek whale of a car body in bold turquoise and chrome, bone-white fake leather seats, ivory, steering wheel, and shifter knobs. It was an ocean liner compared to the mere boatishness of later giant cruisers. Under the cover, it looked quite long, but not as long as it did now, in part due to the exposed aqua paint and all the reflecting chrome work. With cover off, it was twice the size, bulging out underneath the carport on all sides, in turn making the small black VW next to it look like the mere shadow of a motorcycle. The car was clean and well kept. Not mint, but in pretty decent shape for a regular guy like Tony. How he had ever gotten hold of such a car was the question. I acted like I was checking for something in the VW, and then stopped at the fence between our two driveways and asked him how things were going. "Not good," he answered, without taking his head out of the car, followed by a few turns of his socket wrench. Then the slip and metal clatter sound of a socket wrench slipping from its intended nut. Damn. On Tony's back stoop was an open FedEx box and a gray metal toolbox. "What are you working on over there?" I asked him. Tony made a snarling, grumbling sound and slowly pulled himself out of the front seats and stood up. He stood up tall, put both hands on his wide lower back with the ratchet wrench still in his right hand, then groaned for the second or third time. "I'm fixing the fucking seatbelts," he said. "I had to order new ones from Cadillac, but attaching them to the old mounts is a slippery bitch." "Huh," I answered, empathizing with the complications. But I'd already heard the significance of his efforts. He's doing it. The son of a bitch might be cheating on Carol, with Cindy of all people, but he hasn't given up on her. Not by a long shot. Now he's pulling out all the stops. He's making the damn love-mobile safe for her. Safe to pass her inspection. Safe to make her feel comfortable. To give her the chance to feel young again. To give her no excuse to say no. To make her feel like it was 10 years ago and there was nothing standing in the way of her first-class, wind-in-the-hair affair. So be it. "Is it working?" Tony tilted his head to the side an inch and smirked out the opposite side of his mouth. "Yes and no. I got one of the back seat done and one of the front, but this one won't get it." "Shit," I told him, to show my general sympathy and understanding. Poor guy. 2 seatbelts for 4 seats might not be good enough. Putting aside my thoughts of him and Carol for the time, I went inside to brew a single coffee. While the water was heating, the phone rang. My boss from EdTech. If I was feeling better, he prefaced it with, was there any chance I could come to the office on Saturday morning to help with an audition? One of the producers had a family emergency. "Sure," I hated to say. I was in fact feeling a little bit better after the nap, and furthermore, once again, I had no conflicting plans. Though going to the office on a sunny weekend is definitely nothing to take lightly. The following morning, Saturday, after an hour of holding EdTech cue cards and escorting New Orleans 8th graders and their parents up and down the West Hallway, I was free and left the office immediately. In the afternoon, I went golfing to make up for not playing on Friday, my sick day. I joined a threesome of tall Danish doctors visiting New Orleans for a medical conference. The Great Dane's English was limited to certain basic golf terms, but they were all friendly guys and the round was well worth it. Sunday I did nothing, as I did the rest of the week. I went about my work, saw very few people, talked to even fewer people on the phone, and twice squeezed in 7 or 8 holes before it was too dark to play anymore. The next week was the last week of April, which meant Jazz Fest, and of course Carol's party, slated for next Thursday night. At the end of the first day of performances on the second festival weekend, the day a local favorite, as well an unofficial city holiday.